Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at AVAX. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so before we actually jump into the analysis, I want to just say that we were looking for that possibility of this looking to form a 5-wave structure to the upside, where this is 1, 2, and then we're looking for that possibility of a 3rd wave to the upside, or alternatively a zigzag to the upside. These two options are no longer valid. Now we can still have a corrective structure here, so we're going to go over a couple of the ways we're talking about this. We're talking about this possibility of this being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ending with a diagonal into this point here. Now it is also possible that within this count we could still have a diagonal and we could still be within that 5th wave, where we treat this actually as a 1, 2, and then what we're looking for is a 3-wave move to the downside, followed by another 3-wave move down up, and then another 3-wave move to the downside, looking to form a contracting wedge pattern here. So this is technically still possible, and what we would be looking out for is basically a 3-wave move down, and then we'd need to see that confirmation by another 3-wave move failing to take this high here. So that is one of the possibilities that's on the table here. The internals are suggesting, however, that it could be actually looking to break down directly. And now one of the other ways that we were discussing this move is that possibly this structure could be a triangle here, where this is A, B, C, D, E, and we could be looking to break down from this point here in a 5-wave move. So this would be looking actually to continue this move to the downside. And what this could mean is that if we are looking at this as a 5-wave move, looking at this as A, B, C, D, E into this point here, what this could mean is we could still see price actually be gravitated here towards this zone of this 825 to this 549 area. So if we are looking to break down here in a 5-wave move, this is how we would be looking at it. I'm going to come into this count here. And the way that we'd be looking at this is effectively that this is 1, 2, this becomes another 1, 2 here. And now what we're looking for is the fact that we are in this blue wave 4. Now this would be valid for as long as we actually stay below this point here of this 1370. And what I'd be looking for is that area of rejection here, which would be this 1211 zone. Now technically speaking, you know, we've done enough here. As a move to the upside, as this 50%, that this could be completed and we could see this start to break down. If we do start to break down here, 954 to this 884 region will be our target box. If we do see a move down here in 5-wave move, this could then tie in with an additional 4th and a 5th, which could mean that we actually see this rather push down towards this 871 to this 787. So now if I go back over here and we overlay this target area, we can see that this would actually bring us back up into the higher range of this 825. So we'll be keeping an eye on this if we do look to break down into these levels. If, however, we do actually have a completed move into this low, where we were talking about this in the macro video, which you can just link up above now, we were talking about the possibility that we could have this as a W wave from further back here, or we could have this as a 5-wave move into this low. So either way, we could be looking at a flat correction. It would just be in a different manner. So if this is a WX and so if this is a W wave into this low point, what we could have is this is ABC for an A wave, this is a B wave to the downside, and what we could still see is a 5-wave move to the upside, which could actually look to come and sweep this high of this A wave here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this, and effectively if we were looking at something like that, what we'd be talking about is something along these lines here. Now I have this marked out as WX and Y because it could actually just be a 333 instead of 335. What we would then be looking for is that potential of a 3-wave move to the upside. Now the problem that with this is that the A wave length is actually quite small when you actually measure it between the origin and the end point. So this would actually be looking to target out the 1654 if this is just a WXY. Now if this is rather actually a flat correction, what we could be looking for is that this is a 3-wave move to the downside, and we could actually look for a bigger 5-wave structure to the upside to develop off of this. Now there is potential this is not completed, so we're going to go over those smaller time frame counts in a second here. And if we start to get that additional leg that we talked about, where this is 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, this becomes less likely as a this is a B wave, though. Typically speaking, you know, we've come into this zone that we would be looking for as a flat already. We've come into this 1126. So what I'm being mindful of is if this low holds over here at this $10, what we could see is a 5-wave move develop to the upside. So actually, if we do develop this as a flat in this way, I actually just need to adjust this target box now. What we could actually see is that the 1.618 would align with coming and sweeping this high over here of this as of the A wave. So if we did see a move up here, there was a couple of zones we'd be looking out for. We'd be looking out for this 1-to-1 at the 1669, and we'd also be looking out for this 2292 area. Now if we do see this price actually push up in a more impulsive way, where this is actually looking to extend out even higher than this, what we could see is that price could possibly even hit the 2.618. Now it is a rare target area, but that would be up here at this 3830. So we'd have to keep an eye on this. If we do see this develop as a bigger flat correction here, we could potentially see this come up into this 3830, but primarily what I'd be looking for would be these lower targets, and we'd have to see how the actual price action develops to the upside. However, if we do have this where we are counting this as a diagonal into this point to complete this as a fifth wave, what we could argue then is that this could actually be a smaller flat. Now the same idea would be here, looking for this move to the upside as a corrective structure, looking for a structure that's going to develop between this 82.91 to this 28.86. Now what we'd be looking for here would be a three-wave move to the upside, and what this would possibly look like would be something like this, where we'd be looking for this as a wave to the upside. This is a WX and a Y for a B wave to the downside here, and then what we could see is a C wave up. Now this would be looking at this as A, B, and C. Now we could potentially have an additional leg down here where we could see this ABC push down one more time. So that would be treating this move here as A, B, and C. This is a corrective move in the middle, and we could potentially argue that this has still got a leg down. This 1-to-1 would be here at this 959. So we have come down into the target box for this as a flat rejection. Now if we do come down lower here, we've got this 891 and this $8, which are typical areas for a reversal on a flat. Now if we do see something like this and we start to reverse here, what we could start to see is a 5-wave move up. If we get a smaller 5-wave move up here, this could then become either an A wave or a wave 1. If it is looking for this possibility of this as a flat correction here, what we could then see is that possibility that we'd get a secondary 5-wave move, which would be 1.618 of this move, and then we'd look to push to the upside here. We don't have enough confirmation here, but if we continue to hold this low, possibly what we can start to see is an impulse develop to the upside. But we need to bear in mind, until we actually take this high, you know, that bearish count takes precedent for me, because of the fact that, you know, we are still sitting within that fourth wave area. If we start to break up past the fourth wave area and we come back up and invalidate by crossing the wave 1, then potentially we could be looking at something like this. But until we actually do, I think that that bearish scenario where we could actually get this direct breakdown is actually more likely for the time being. So this is why this 12-11 area is going to be an important zone here. If we continue to reject off of this, what we could then see is that price breakdown. And now this would make more sense as a count to me, but really at the moment we don't have completed structure. So even though this could and should be a 5-wave move, what we could have is that this is just ABC, this is B, and then we have this as a move in itself, as a just as a 5-wave completed move, looks to reverse, break back above this wave 1 high, and then we just have a 3-wave structure down, and in which case this would just effectively be a W, an X, and a Y at that point. Okay, so having a look at some levels here now, we did discuss this in the macro video of the possibility of looking for a move back down into this value area low. So if we do actually have that additional drop here, I'd be very interested to see how we react around this 959. Obviously we have these two bottoms over here. This could tie in with the idea of actually setting a triple bottom in this area. So going to keep an eye on that if we do see price come back down into these levels, as well as that if we do see price start to move back to the upside here, this point of control is at the 1778. So I would be cautious about a rejection off that zone. Now, just looking at the top end of this range, we can see that we did find support on this value area low. So what I want to see here is, you know, if we continue to hold this, this could potentially mean we start to see some price movement to the upside. The point of control here would actually be towards this 1689. So I'd be interested to see how we react around this level. Having a look at the CPR on the daily, what we can see is price is actually currently holding this daily CPR central line area. So now if we do continue to hold this, what we could actually see is price could be gravitated up here towards this S1 line at this 1164. We have this 1188 at the S2, and we have this S3 1220, S4 1243. So if we remain above this, what we could actually see is price start to interact with some of these higher targets. Now, if we do start to lose these central CPR lines, I'd be interested to see how price reacts to the downside here, where we could actually have this move into this 1110, we have this 1079, and we have this 1055 as possible areas of interaction if we do move to the downside. Now, if we actually flip this over here onto the weekly pivots, we are actually currently underneath this. Now, this ties in with our fourth wave target area. So this is why this is an important level. If we continue to fail to break through this zone, this would tie in with the idea of actually having that fifth wave, which we could see this price actually be gravitated towards this 942. So this is why I'm saying, until we actually see further evidence here, by all means, we could have something like a diagonal here, 1 2 3 4 5, then we get this as a wave 2, and then we look to push to the upside. But really, we need to start to see that confirmation by a bigger move, which would actually be looking to push us up past this 1618 level. So we need to get back above these CPR lines for more clarity that we could be potentially looking to trend. For as long as we are within this fourth wave range and we are within the CPR range, if we keep bouncing off of this, it becomes more likely we're going to see a rejection to the downside. So we have that, like I said, that R1 here at this 940, the R2 at this 726, and then all the way down here we have the 452 as that R3. So I'll be keeping an eye on these areas if we do look to move down. Now, if we do manage to reclaim these central lines here, what we could then see is price be gravitated to the upside to this 1433, this 1705, and this higher area here of this 1923 up as possible target areas. Now, coming over here onto the monthly pivots, what we can see is that we are currently holding this R2 line here. So for as long as we do, there's always a possibility we could see another move to the upside towards this R1 line at this 1264. If we do start to lose this, however, and reject down, we could see price be gravitated down towards that 860, which would tie into that idea of having that continued breakdown. If we do manage to hold this and we start to see price moving to the upside, I'd be interested to see how we react around these central lines here. If we just move up here in a three-wave move, this could actually indicate that we have further downside to come. If we start to break through these levels, then potentially over the month we could look to challenge this 1665, this 1920, and this 2071 area. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.